Santee Canal. This canal, 22 miles in length, connects the Santee and Cooper rivers. It was chartered by Act of March 22, 1786 with capital of £1,000 sterling. Construction began in 1793 and the canal was completed by 1800 under the direction of Colonel John Christian Senf, a native of Sweden, as chief engineer. The canal was in operation until about 1850. The Santee Canal was opened to traffic from the Santee River to the Cooper River in 1800. It was 22 miles long, 20 feet wide at the bottom and 35 feet wide at the surface. It was 5.5 feet deep, carrying 4 feet of water, and was capable of carrying boats with loads of up to 22 tons. The canal ceased operations about 1850. Today we're at Old Santee Canal Park in Moncks Corner, Berkeley County, South Carolina. After you come through the entrance gate, you're going to follow the road around to the parking area. There's lots of scattered picnic tables. Look at that beautiful sycamore. Old Santee Canal Park is also home of the Berkeley County Museum. It says Heritage Center, as well as the Fort Fairlawn Visitor Center. We'll go see that in a little while. So from the guidebook that I picked up, it says that the canal was 22 miles long, 30 feet wide, 5.5 feet deep, and was completed at a cost of $650,000. It was designed to handle a 34-foot rise through 3 locks and a 69-foot fall through 7 more locks for a net difference of 35 feet between the Santee and Cooper rivers. Hoping we don't see any black bears today. This is called the Bluff Exhibit. Information about geology of the area. Maybe we'll get to see some of the limestone bluffs today when we're out. Otter and a beaver. Turtles down there on the logs. Coming up on the canoe dock, they had life jackets and paddles, everything inside the visitor center. Some turtles out there on a little log just past that last little pier. hear a woodpecker, and I've already seen an alligator. Sitting right over there on the bank in the reeds. There's another woodpecker. Okay, we just left the canoe dock, which is right there at that little canoe icon right there. That's blue. Now we're fixing to set out on the red alligator trail. Look up. There's some of the limestone bluffs they were talking about in the visitor center. And that staircase will take us back up to the interpretive center. These things sticking out from the ground are cypress knees, with the roots that poke up through the soil, trying to catch nutrients. So here's another example of one of the bluffs I was just talking about. In case you couldn't see the sign for the geology in the visitor center, from their guide it says, the ocean covered this area 25 million to 35 million years ago, when the cool, deep water became home to microscopic plants and animals. As these organisms died, their remains settled to the ocean floor and formed the fine-grained limestone rock known as Cooper Marl. Ancient rivers, and more recently the Cooper River and its tributaries, cut into the ground. Because the marl is hard and erosion resistant, it is exposed as bluffs and steep cliffs throughout the length of the park. High levels of calcium in the marl make the soils along the bluff alkaline, which allows plants requiring these high calcium levels to survive here. It's called southern shield fern. Here's the red and blue trails break off. Let's keep going along the alligator trail. Skink. Looks like one of the spadehead skinks. Oh, he's gone. As we continue along the woodland trail, which is off the alligator trail, it gets steep, narrow, and we have staircases. I recommend, if you have trekking poles, bring them. I didn't. Mine are in the car. The nature trail follows along the edge of our swamp and is roughly half a mile long. Obstacles include roots, muddy spots, and some elevation changes, but us naturalists wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm already out of breath. So make sure your shoes are tied and get ready to embark on a grand adventure, because you never know what you might see. I don't like stairs. Let's continue. So yeah, there's a lot of roots. Hopefully I don't trip. This is a narrow trail. As you can see, we don't have any more guide rails. The swamp is way down there. A lot of stairs. It's a matter of taking your time. announcement of family on this trail. As you can see, it's Rudy. I'm not looking at the camera right now. Yeah, this is narrow, steep down, steep up. Always got to watch your feet. I'm just watching for the trail markers. These people had a baby in a stroller. More power to you. Oh my. That's kind of cool. Footbridge. You can see as we come away from the bluffs, we come away from the swamp, we're not seeing cypress anymore. This is all hardwood. I see sweet gum, looks like some tupelo, and a lot of saw palmettos. Hardwood forest area. Watch out for roots. And your head if you're tall. I've come through some muddy places. This is a good idea. Just put down some wood planks. Helps make it easier when the water's high. So along this woodland trail, I've encountered several fallen trees. You can go around it, not always. This one I can see under. I can see there's no snake laying underneath it. I feel safe crossing. If it's too high, put your butt on and swing your legs over. If you can climb over it, then climb over it. But never stand on a log. Don't put your feet on it. That thing can roll and it's going to tumble you down. All right, we just finished up with the green trail called the Woodland Trail. It's half a mile. We are at the push pin right here. I'm going to continue on around the canal trail, come back around and finish up the alligator loop. Fitness trail? No, thank you. I'm not fitting this into my day today. Not gonna happen. You may not be able to see it, maybe you can hear it. Boats going by it on the Tailrace Canal. Not like a pontoon boat. As you can see, Tailrace Canal is just ahead of us. So right now we're at the end of the canal trail. It will run a mile back to join to the, alligator loop. And it's got numerous vantage points. You can peek out and see wildlife. Across the way, there's another canoe kayak launch. Also an area to sit in, maybe do some fishing. I did see some kayakers a few minutes ago. You can see another view of the canal coming from this way. You see it reaches a pretty narrow point here with the walls. Water is flowing nicely. Nice and quiet. There's an owl. Did you hear it? Information board. Nice way to spend a Sunday. Just getting out walking, just being outside in nature. It doesn't have to be a long walk. It doesn't have to be strenuous. Just take a walk. Just get out in nature. You can find peace. You can find calm and roots and rocks. But just get out. Take a walk. It's one of the observation points off of the Red Alligator Trail. So we are just about directly across from where we were a little while ago at the canoe launch, place we can rent the canoes. A while ago, when we were there, right over there in that clump of bushes is where I saw the alligator land. Let me just check and see. A big old cypress out there. Can't even see the observation of the interpretive center. It's right there. They've done a really good well at disguising it. You really cannot see any part of it. Pretty cool. A few minutes ago, we were at that observation deck that's directly behind this cypress, as you can see in front of me. Deck's about right there, and I said you can't see the interpretive center. Look at that. And they built that. They did a really good job. But there's something I want you to see. There it is. I've been watching those bubbles for a while. I'm probably, I'd say 8 or 9 feet. The way to judge how long an alligator is you go from the tip of his nose to his eyeballs. And for every inch from the nose to the eyeballs, that's how long his body is. So for an inch of length, you've got a foot of body length. Swimming along. I can see his body underneath the surface. I don't know if you can see it or not, but he's just lazing along. Kind of see his body a little bit better now. Well, we just saw that alligator a few minutes ago between observation points 2 and 3. And I've come back around and I'm about to cross where Biggins Creek, what was the old canal, empties out into the Taylor's Canal, heading out towards the Cooper River. Yes, they do. This is the very end of the Santee Canal. Now we're at the Stony Landing House. This was built, they say, circa 1843. And here's what we have from the park guide. This is a high bluff here at the headwaters of Cooper River. Has for generations been known as Stony Landing. Because of the natural advantages of the setting, it became a crossroads of early commerce. Boat traffic from the port of Charleston took on the goods of the upcountry and unloaded finished products for overland transportation to the growing frontier and Indian nations. The construction of the canal further solidified the importance of this area. While earlier buildings had certainly occupied this site, the plantation house presently at Stony Landing Bluff was built circa 1843 by the Charleston merchant John Dawson. It faced the road that followed by the historic Cherokee Path through the state's interior. Visitors now have sweeping views of the Terrace Canal, which flows in Santee Cooper Lakes, created during the 1940s. The house has been restored and is open to groups by arrangement. I have been here when there's been weddings going on. It's really beautiful. Let's see. Trying to find just the right place. All these crepe myrtles are in the way, so I can't see it as well as I would like, but postcard of the Stony Landing house. I don't have the photographic one. I have that, as well as another illustrated postcard of the Stony Landing house. Let's take a look at the front. Move away from the crepe myrtles. Like I said, I've seen weddings here before. Sip out on this grassy lawn. Quite beautiful. And off in the distance, there's the Terrace Canal. And way out there is boat landing. The only other postcard that I have of this park is this one, site of America's first canal. It says, Old Santee Canal Park, Moncks Corner, South Carolina. Now let's go take a look at the Revolutionary War fort. I believe it's called Fort Fairlawn. Tripping along back at the Interpretive Center. Watch out for roots when you walk. Eastern Pond Hawk. Eastern Amber Wing. Black Saddlebed Skimmer. Roseate Skimmer. Slaty Skimmer. And the Halloween Bannock. Did you hear the owl? Those are some of the dragonflies you might see when you come here.